Good morning, students. So, have you wondered when you sit or when you walk towards the road, you see all the objects moving at pace. So, what do you understand? Let me take you another example. You all know about our vast solar system, and we all know the fact that planets rotate around the sun like this way. Okay, so if you say, and let me tell you one more thing, is have you seen a pendulum? A pendulum is the thing which moves from to fro and comes back to its surface. So what are these conclusions are? Maybe? Tell me? Yeah, you guessed it right. These all objects are in motion. Whether it's the car which moves from moves at one direction, or the planet which moves around, or even the pendulum which goes from to fro and swings in one way. This is what we call motion, and we are going to learn what motion is. To start with, it is a motion is something or a movement of particle from one place to another place. It is said, before it we have to know what is meant by rest or what is meant by moving. Rest is something that you are sitting here. Suppose I am sitting here or I am standing here. To my reference to another one, it is I am at rest. And if I start myself moving from one to other and from one place to other, this I am in a moving position or I am in a motion. So to continue or to begin with, a motion is something that is said to be in movement with a reference point. So to movement to other point is, what do you mean by reference point? It is a point to which one see whether an object is in motion or it is in rest. That's it. It's a simple term. So next we move to something called as scalar quantity and vector quantities. Scalar quantities are the things which are said to be in motion, but they just have a magnitude. For example, distance and weight. And next moving to is vector quantity. Vector quantity has both a magnitude and a direction. For example, if we see what do you mean by magnitude and direction, is the better one is called displacement. Okay, so we got two clear terms, that is distance and displacement. Now you all must be wondering what is meant by displacement and distance. So let's start with distance. Okay, so in distance we would talk about, suppose I have my house here. This is my house and this is my friend's Adi's house. So if we see, the common path between this is simple or the shortest one. But if I can go to my house, to Adi's house from this point and comes back to this point, or I must go in zigzag movement like this. I can choose any path I want. So distance is nothing but the total distance I would cover from one part to other part. In simple terms, its SI unit is in meters, whereas displacement is nothing but if I start walking from my house to Adi's house and start the shortest distance between me and Adi's house would be my displacement. Okay, so displacement is always shortest than the distance, whereas distance can be longer or can be more than one. Thank you. Moving on to types of motion. Generally there are many types of motions, but in this chapter or at your level we would start with only three types. That is uniform motion or straight linear motion. Next is the oscillating motion, and the third one we have is rotation motion. Okay. Further, what do you mean by linear motion? Linear motion is something when an object travels in a straight line like this, okay, and comes back. This movement of object in a straight line and coming back is called linear motion. You must have seen the movement of vehicles in a straight line until they find a turn or something. And next, moving to the oscillatory motion. These are simply, the most common example is your pendulums, which are in your hanging clocks and other things. Just pendulum goes from one point to other, swings it and come back. This is called as oscillating motion. And the next is what I call as rotatory motion. And the best part of them is the sun is saturated in the center, and all those planets move a rotational wise from one corner to another, making it go round and round and round, and this is called as oscillatory rotation motion. Thank you. And further we will move on to something called as uniform motion and non-uniform motion. In uniform motion, it means if I cover a certain distance in a probably unit time, then I must say that I am in a uniform motion. Whereas if I cover a certain distance in a not negotiable time or not in a particular time, then I am in a non-uniform motion. To begin with, we have three terms, that is speed. Now if you will talk about speed, speed is nothing but the total distance I would travel in a particular unit time. Suppose to reach from my house to Adi's house, it takes me around 100 meters. So I would walk 100 meters in 10 seconds and come back. Total speed is 100 upon 10, that is 10 meters per second. Simple. And we will talk about velocity and acceleration in the next class. Thank you.